I'm Tomlyn Nicholson. This is Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. President Trump stated from the East Room that the U.S. Israel strikes on Iran were necessary to eliminate threats from a regime that was on the road to obtaining nuclear weapons. He emphasized America's ferocious, unyielding resolve and predicted the U.S. would easily prevail in the ongoing operations. Congressional leaders from both parties convened an emergency session to debate a proposed resolution limiting presidential war powers in the Iran conflict. Democrats pushed for immediate restrictions while Republicans argued for continued support to ensure national security objectives are met. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth told reporters the current operation against Iran is not another Iraq and will not become an endless conflict with no clear end. He stressed there are no stupid rules of engagement, no nation building, and no politically correct restrictions holding back U.S. forces. Updated polls indicate a slight uptick in public approval for the military operations in Iran, with 35% now supporting the actions amid reports of successful strikes. Concerns over oil prices fluctuate and potential escalation persist among the majority of respondents. Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with European allies to coordinate responses to the Iran strike, seeking unified sanctions against remaining regime elements. Allies expressed mixed views, with some supporting the U.S. position and others calling for de-escalation efforts. Oil prices surged 5% following intensified U.S. operations in Iran, impacting global markets and raising domestic fuel costs. Economists predict short-term volatility but note potential long-term benefits from stabilized Middle East energy supplies. U.S. military officials reported the destruction of key Iranian missile sites in the latest phase of Operation Epic Fury, reducing threats to regional allies. Ground forces remain undeployed, with emphasis on air and naval superiority to minimize risks. Democratic presidential hopefuls criticized the administration's handling of the Iran crisis during campaign events, labeling it as reckless foreign policy. They advocated for congressional oversight and international mediation to resolve the conflict. Several Republican senators introduced a bill to provide additional funding for military operations in Iran, citing the need to maintain momentum. The measures include provisions for veteran support and intelligence enhancements. White House officials signaled readiness for talks with Iran's transitional government, contingent on verifiable denuclearization steps. Primarily, contacts through third parties have been established to explore ceasefire options. Hezbollah and other Iranian proxies launched limited retaliatory attacks on Israeli positions, prompting U.S. warnings against further escalation. Regional stability talks involving Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states are underway to contain spillover effects. Domestic protests occurred in several U.S. cities against the Iran military actions, with participants calling for peace and troop withdrawal. Counter demonstrations supported the operation, reflected divided public sentiment on the issue.